Hey everybody, we're back at school and this is my first video because I couldn't find one for reading function values from a graph. So let's jump right into this because it's pretty easy. It says plot the point on this function. So my line is my function here with an x value of 3. So I go down on my x-axis, I go over to where x is 3, and then I go up until I hit my line or my function. And I just plot the point. And then they ask me what the value is. So right here, when x is 3, the y value is also going to be 3. So they're asking me what the y value was. So 3. All right, let's jump to the next level. Plot the point on this function with a y value of 1. So if my y value is 1, I'm going to go on my y-axis until I get to the 1, and then I go across until I hit my function that's graphed. And I'm going to plot that point, and then they're asking me to tell them what the x value is. So I go from my point I just plotted straight down to the x-axis, and I see it's in between 8 and 10, which would give me 9 for my x value. All right, this next one is not linear anymore. There's a curve in there. It says plot the point on this function with an x value of 3. So I'm going to go on my x-axis to 3 and then go up until I hit my function line. And then it says, what's the y value of this point? So I just go straight across to see what the y value would be, and it would be 1. All right, next one. So I got a quadratic function here. That's a parabola. Plot the point on this function with an x value of -4. So this time it's telling me my x is -4. So I'm starting on the x-axis. I go to -4. And if I see that I can go up until I hit right here, that's where I have an x value of -4. My y value I come across is going to be 3. So the y value, 3. All right, and then I'm back to linear now. What is the y value of the function when x is -9? So when x, so I go to my x-axis right here, is -9. Here's where -9 would be. So I guess I have to go down to hit my graph. So it'd be right there. And then it says, what's the y value? So I'm going to come across, and my y value would be here at -5. All right, and then this time, look at the wording on this one. It talks about output, which are the y values, and input, which are the x values. So when you work something out, it's y equals, so you get what y is. When you put something in, you're putting in for x. So x is -3. So on my x-axis, I'm going to go to -3 right here. And in order to hit that line, I would have to go up right to here. And then my y value, I come across to see what it is, and it would be 5. So my y value is 5 when x is -3. So output is y, input is x. All right. What input of this function has an output of 0? So output means y. So when y is 0, find out what x is. So here's where y is 0, right here. So let's see if I go left or right, because I have to say at that 0 mark, I come over here and I get my x would be 4. And I just have one answer, 4. All right, use this graph of g, so my function's called g, to find g of 10. So that means find out what g is, or what we would say y, when I put in a 10 for x. So it's like g of x would be g of 10. So when x is 10, so I go to my x-axis, I go to 10 right here, I would have to come down to hit the graph. So that's where my y is. So if I come across to see what that would be, y would be -1. So before I move on from this one, I just want to point out one thing, that if it's in parentheses, that's your X value, and you're figuring out what your Y value is, even if they say a different letter. All right, same type of thing. So f of x equals 1 is just a way to say y equals 1. So when y is 1, I'm figuring out what the x value is. So let's go to the y-axis and go to 1. If I come across at this level, it's never going to hit. I go this way. Oh, it hits right here. Come down and see what your x is, and it's 8. There we go. One more. All right, on this one, it says use the graph of this function g to find the solutions to g of x equals -6. So basically it's saying y equals -6. So on my y-axis, I'm going to go to -6 right here. And then I see if I go this way, I hit. And if I go to the right, I hit. So let's see, when I go to the left and I go up, the x is -3. And when I go to the right, x is 1. So -3 and 1. -3, 1. Let's see if there's, oh, and that's it. So there we go.